Hi, I'm Tamika. Welcome to Two Blurred Girls podcast. As I mentioned before, Tamara is on hiatus, but she'll be back December 17th. But the show must continue. And I'm excited because I'm with my special guest, my sister, Dasiah.
Hey, special guest.
Special, super special guest.
That's right.
Who is welcome anytime. This is the first time you're on the show, right?
Yes, it is. It's the Two Sisters podcast now.
Oh, now we done took over. Yeah. we're gonna review spoiler review of House of Gucci, the movie. Is 2021 Ridley Scott film. It stars Lady Gaga, Adam Driver, Al Pacino, Jared Leto, and
Jeremy Irons.
Jeremy Irons. Who else is in this film?
Who's not?
The who's is in this
Al
film.
Pacino. Yeah, Al Pacino.
Al
Uh-huh.
Pacino, Jared. Those are four main. Wait, one, two,
Yeah.
three, four, five, whatever main
Mm-hmm.
people. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so we saw this film. When did we see this film? Like, is it last weekend, wasn't it?
It was last Sunday. It was this past Sunday.
This past Sunday. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
we saw it this past Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So House of Gucci is based on a 2000 novel by Sarah Forden. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. The book is called House of Gucci: Story of Sensational Story of Murder, Madness, and Glamour. And I believe you can probably get that at all bookstores. But yeah, it is about um I'm gonna try to make sure I get these Italian names right. um uh,
Patricio.
Patrizia Reggiana. She's a ambitious woman, a socialite. I think this was set in the 70s
Mm-hmm.
in Milan, I believe. So she's basically just a small socialite. And her dad owns like a trucking company. So they're probably like millionaires. But I guess on a higher status, the billionaires are the ones that matter. So she's trying to climb the social ladder and she meets Maurizio Gucci, who is the son of Aldo Gucci, the head of the Gucci empire. She meets him at a small party. Well, not small, but it looks like it was New Year's Eve. I don't know what was going on,
Yeah,
but
it looks
something.
like some kind of club or
Yeah,
really
they met at
high,
a club, which he
yeah,
didn't know
or
why he was there himself. He was like, "What am I doing here? I don't know."
yeah.
Maurizio is played by Adam Driver, and
Yes.
Patrizio is played by Lady Gaga. So
Yes.
they meet at a club, and then she finds out that he's part of the Gucci empire, and she goes out her way to get in his way, in a sense. Like she found out he's at a bookstore, so she tried to go to the bookstore. She's basically like a groupie, and she's like trying to get in that Gucci status, basically. Um, so she manipulates her way into his heart, and through him, she tries to run the Gucci empire. Eventually, he buys out his uncle and his cousin. His uncle is played by Al Pacino, and his cousin is played by Jared Leto, who is Pablo, who they call the idiot son.
He is unrecognizable, y'all. I did not even know that was Jared Leto until Mika told me when we were leaving the movie theater. I
Oh
really
yeah,
thought it was a
yeah,
middle-aged dude.
yeah. He kind of looks like Danny DeVito Penguin.
Yeah, yeah, he
Yeah, yeah,
does.
'cause he
Like
has all
Batman
that
Returns.
prosthetic. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he looked like that. I did not know that was Jared Leto.
yeah, yeah. So that's pretty much the senses of the movie. But what is some of your favorite scenes, Station?
So many scenes that I like. First of all, I really enjoyed this movie. I did not have, I really was a blank slate. Of course, everybody knows what Gucci is. Most people
Mhm,
know. And I enjoy fashion anyway. So I have Vogue and Harper's Bazaar. So I like looking at the different designers like Alexander McQueen and
mhm,
Carolyn Herrera and, of course, Versace. So if you into that, you know who, you know the Gucci name.
mhm.
And we're not even gonna mention Gucci Mane.
No,
We
we're
ain't
not
even
talking
gonna
about
mention.
him. We
Yes,
ain't talking
yes.
about Gucci Mane.
Yeah, Gucci Mane.
Yeah,
For
we ain't
people
talking
who
about
not
him. We're
into
talking about
fashion,
the Gucci.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is the Gucci. So I did not know their background. I didn't know anything about it, so I really was a blank slate to them. And I really did not know a lot about the hype leading up to this movie or whatever issues they had besides something about the accents. So looking at it, sitting down, I really enjoyed it. I was learning things for the first time. I really think Lady Gaga played. She was very good, and I
Mhm,
hope she gets some type of Golden Globe or Oscar consideration because I felt like she really embodied Patricia.
mhm,
She, like you said, she is a very, very ambitious social climber.
mhm,
Her dad was well off in Milan, but she wanted more. And she was a very fashionable woman before she met Mauricio, and her fashion went to another level
mhm,
once she got a hold of the Gucci store and the designs and all that. It's very Studio 54 type fashion from the late 70s to the early to mid 80s. So it kind of feels like a fashion history um, event show anyway. It felt like that just looking at all the different looks that Lady Gaga had. But I really enjoyed pretty much most of this movie. I enjoyed Adam Driver playing Mauricio. I think he did a really good job of being understated but yet there
mhm.
because Adam Driver, I mean, he's a very good actor. But it seems like Mauricio was when he first met Lady Gaga or Patricia, he was very withdrawn and
Yeah.
socially awkward.
Mhm.
So that's why he's like, I don't know what I'm doing at this party. It almost seems like he would have been happy just going to school, reading his books.
Yeah. Y
And she kind of pulled that out of, the fun out for him, just going, rowing on a boat, going on a
mhm.
lake, driving a motorcycle instead of riding a bike. It's just she wormed her way into his heart, but I think there actually was some love there between these. I really think it was. I mean, I think in that crazy way that these two operated, I really think there was some, which is why towards the end Mauricio kind of turned on her and was so vicious about it.
Yeah, yeah, 'cause, Maurizio, like you were saying, he was studying to be a lawyer, so he's in law
Hmm.
school. And one of the scenes that describe how, ambitious Patrizia was, she saw him go into a bookstore, and she goes in the bookstore, and she pretends to pick up a book, and she sees him around the corner, and she's like, "Oh," in her mind, she's like, "He's not looking, let me kinda pushing books aside. Oh, Maurizio, hey,
Yeah.
whoa!" And he's like, "Wow,
Yeah.
you are in law school too? Oh, I guess I don't know what I'm reading." Oh my, she just kind of push away.
Yes. Because
It's
at
just
that time she was just a typist for her father's was he in construction or
it
trash
looks like something
waste
like well,
management?
they said truck company,
Yeah, a
so
trucking company. Yeah. So he was she was just a typist in the office.
mhm.
So no, she was not on her way to law school.
No, she was far from lost. She had
Yeah.
no interest in law school. She just
None.
wanted to get in front of Maurizio. And
Mm-hmm.
the other scene, he was leaving on his little moped and she got in front of him and it was awkward and I felt awkward looking at it because
Yeah.
because he
Oh
was
yeah.
trying to go and then she was in front of him. She's like, oh, he's trying to go. Oh, and he's like, I'm trying to go. Hello. Like they both, Lady Gaga's performance and Adam Driver's performance being awkward made me awkward, which means it was
Yeah.
good performance. Because I'm like,
I
is anybody gonna go? Is he gonna run over her?
Yeah, I mean, and then I was kind of like, "Dang, you that thirsty? You just gonna basically jump in front of the man's motorcycle and refuse to move?" I'm like, "My God, you thirsty!"
She was
And
super thirsty.
she really was, and I thought that was gonna be the end because I thought Mauricio gonna be like, no, I don't think so. This is too crazy."
Yeah. Yeah, which yeah, I don't know what it was about her. Oh, right. He said she looked like Elizabeth Taylor at
Yes.
the party. So some kind of way he was captivated by Elizabeth Taylor's beauty. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that is what did it for him.
Yeah, I think it was because she was, she really was. Lady Gaga played her very well,
Hmm.
and she was beautiful. And I saw those pictures of Patricia for real,
Yeah.
and Patricia is a good looking woman. She is a very um glamorous in her day. Night, she's a nice looking woman, even though yeah,
Yeah,
she don't been through some things.
she is insane, really.
Yeah, she
Um,
really is. Yeah.
but yeah, as the movie goes along, um, Maurizio goes to his dad, Aldo, which is played by Jeremy Irons. He's like, "Oh, I met somebody," and he tells her about her background and everything else. And his dad is like, "No, she's a social climber. She just wants your money."
And she's
No,
part of the mob. Her dad is part of the mob.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And he was like, "No, I don't like this." And of
Hmm.
course, he didn't listen. And then there was that awkward scene where she met the dad at dinner
Oh
or at
yeah.
lunch, and he was just, talking about his past and was in a few movies. And she's like, "Oh my God, movies! Oh, geez, okay, get your autograph." Like
Yeah, it really
it's
was
just
thirsty.
thirst, and then he felt the thirst. He was like, "Ugh, disgusting by this thirst." And like you said, she forced him to go on boat rides, and he just fell more and more in love with her.
Hmm.
And he went to his dad and said, "I want to get married to her." And his dad said, "That's not a woman you marry. You sleep with her and you have a good time, but marry her, no."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it turns
So
out Daddy was right.
yeah, but he left his dad's house and he went to her house and he was like, "Okay, can I stay with you guys? I am
Yeah.
Gucci. I will work with your dad's company." Blah blah blah. So
Yeah,
it was
because
interesting seeing somebody of that high status working a kind of like a low class, um,
hmm
um, what am I trying to say? Um, whatever work in a sense
yeah, he
because he
he
was cleaning
became
trucks.
yes, yeah, he became working class because Iron's character, his father, disowned him when he said he wanted to marry Patricia,
Mhm.
and he was so against it that he cut off his all his credit cards, disowned him, and basically said, "If you marry this girl, you will be broke." So,
Yeah.
Adam Driver Mauricio drove over to Patricia's house, met her parents, and basically said, "I am broke. I have no credit cards. My dad cut me off. So, can I live with you? And I will work off basically my debt." So, that's how he
Mhm.
ended up working at the trucking company with like the other roughnecks.
Mhm. Yeah. And he fit in. He was coming out
Yeah,
his
he really
shell.
did.
Yeah, he was playing
Yeah.
soccer with the other workers.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was that explosive sex scene.
Wow. They went further on that because I was kept thinking, when is the scene gonna cut? Because this is Lady Gaga and Adam Driver, and I was thinking, okay, they'll just show something and then they're gonna cut to the next scene. But they went way further with that.
Yeah.
There's no nudity, but pretty much they
Mm,
did everything but the nudity.
yeah, it was very rough sex because she called him into the was it like the secretary office or some kind of
Yeah,
office?
it's the
And he
main office.
yeah, the
Yeah.
main office, and he came. And of course, they're like ripping each other's clothes off. They're basically having sex on top of a desk. You
Mm-hmm.
get to see Lady Gaga's lingerie, which you see a lot in this film. I don't know
Yeah.
if she has a lingerie company or not, but she's promoting her lingerie. And I
Mm.
wasn't shocked by seeing Lady Gaga half naked because she pretty much is half naked on stage. So it
Mm-hmm.
was like, man, but seeing Adam Driver that passionate and intense in a sex scene, I was like, "Oh, geez."
Yeah, that was a bit surprising that he was so into that scene because he doesn't. I don't think he usually does that, but then he's still Kylo Ren to me, so I don't know.
Kylo Ren was having sex with
Kylo
Lady
Ren was,
Gaga.
yeah, that's what it felt like. It felt like Kylo Ren was having sex with Lady Gaga. So
Oh gosh. Yeah.
I'm like, wow, okay, he getting into
She
this.
didn't show her poker face.
I know. He just needed his helmet on.
Yeah, to resist her
Yeah,
poker face.
he needed his Kylo Ren helmet on. I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah. That was intense. But yeah, it felt like about 10 minutes of just that.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, it
anyway,
went on. It went on longer than I thought.
yeah, some sex scenes, I'm like, okay, we get it. They're passionate, but
Yeah.
it's like the camera just said go, and then they went, and then they were like forgot that it was a film,
Yeah, exactly.
and
It's
it
it's
felt like
that.
they were just pervs watching people get it on at this point.
Yeah, it really felt like that they were really just getting it on, and the camera was just there.
Yeah.
It didn't feel mechanical, like some sex scenes feel like you can tell that the director saying put your hand there, put this
Hmm.
and that. Nah,
Hmm.
it was, I'm like, do these two go out in real life or something? Because
Yeah,
they
yeah,
going
because
at it
I
like,
I see pictures of them at the premiere. But I think Lady Gaga is notorious for like with Bradley Cooper. Everybody thought they were
mm-hmm,
dating because she would cozy up to her co-star on the red carpet, and she'll do all these little stunts where it looked
yeah.
like they're together. Because with
Mm-hmm.
her and I want to say Kylo Ren, but Adam Driver, she kicked one leg up and was leaning against him. I saw one picture of that on the red carpet. And I was
Oh,
like,
okay.
"Oh Lord."
Well, I mean, and going back to Bradley Cooper, I did not see A Star Is Born. I did
Mm,
not see that one, but I did see her Oscar performance with Bradley Cooper, and I was like, they are banging. Oh, what is this?
mhm.
When both
Yeah.
of them were at the piano, I'm like, these two are banging. I don't
Yes.
know. They saying no, but I'm like, I'm looking and I'm like, yeah, they are.
Mhm. Yeah, and then his girlfriend was in the audience like, "Ooh,
Yeah,
this is uncomfortable."
and since have broken up.
Yeah, they broke up.
Yeah, they
Mm.
broke up.
And apparently Lady Gaga is with somebody else, but whatever.
Yeah, she's with somebody. I don't, some
Mm.
dude.
Yeah. As the film progresses, like we said, they get married, and she worms her way further up the circle of the family, and she convinces Maurizio to get his uncle and his cousin to sell their shares of the company so that
Yes.
he could have basically it was for him to have majority share because by this time I think the dad died like a little bit after it was after they got married and they had their first kid together.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
after the first kid, they had the dad kind of passed away. But
Mhm.
I don't know if he had cancer or what, but he
I
seemed really
think
sick.
I think he had cancer real bad.
Okay, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So he passed,
Mhm.
and the share went to the uncle played by Al Pacino, which I forgot the uncle's name.
Oh man, I forgot his name now.
Yeah, but the shares went to the uncle who was he wanted to take Gucci international. So he was doing all these business deals in Japan at that time, which I'm assuming maybe this is the late 70s into 80s.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, so the store was still a bit high class. But he was doing these tax evasions and racketeering and all this stuff behind the scenes. And one thing I will agree with Patricia on, or Lady Gaga, she found out that I think she found out her maid for their house had a Gucci
Mhm.
purse, right? And she's like, "Where'd you get this?" And my husband bought it. And then she went on the streets and she saw, how you see those street vendors and they selling knockoffs. So she confronted the uncle and she's like, "They're selling knockoffs and they're devaluing the name of Gucci." But the uncle was like, "No, it's okay. We're not gonna do nothing about it. You just inspire people to buy Gucci." And I'm like, "No,
No, I know. I was like,
no,
no, this is not how it works.
no. If I can
No,
afford a
no.
Tucci
Yeah,
for
I know. A
40
Tucci.
bucks, I'm gonna get a Tucci."
Yeah, excuse me, Stanley Tucci, but
Yeah.
yes, they were selling Tucci's in New York
Hmm.
that were blatant ripoffs of Gucci
Yes.
purses.
Yes.
And I think after the father died, then the uncle got he got all of the shares. And so Patricia, because at that time Adam Driver was very happy playing with the Roughnecks, cleaning trucks, and he really was fine with with his life. And Patricia was like, "No, no, no, you're Gucci. You Now that your dad has died, you need to go see your uncle about your place. You have a place in the Gucci company." So the uncle brought him on as sort of I don't know what he was, like an assistant or a
I'm like
second.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, like a second in command. And so he flew him to New York with Patricia. And of course, Patricia went wild in the Gucci store, and she had a maid, and that's how she ended up seeing the knockoff Gucci bags that the maid had in New York.
Hmm.
So when she confronted the uncle with, "Why are you allowing them to sell these knockoff brands? You need to fight this in court or shut this down," and he was like, who cares?" And that was the beginning. And Adam Driver was very good at just sitting there as Patricia just took over and took charge, and he just kind of sat on the sideline just observing everything.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I mean, he was, like you said, he was happy.
mhm,
They had it looked like a modest house, a
yeah,
little small, nice house.
yeah,
The one where the ironing board folds down.
yeah. This was in Italy before
Italy.
he went to New York and took his place in the Gucci empire when he was just washing trucks.
Yeah, he was happy.
He really was.
He
Yeah.
was, playing with his kid,
Mhm.
just minding his business. That was not enough for Patricia. She will not live a mediocre life. And
Yeah.
your name is Gucci, and her name is Gucci? No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, exactly. And the contrast was so funny because you had Mauricio over there playing with the baby, ironing clothes, getting his work stuff together to go to the trucking company the next day, and Patricia is on the phone, basically, just talking up the uncle and going and making Mauricio go to family gatherings that he hate, of just trying to do anything she could to smooth her way in there. It's almost like a handbook for a social climber.
Yes.
It was, I mean, yeah, Patricia worked. She worked that for all it was worth. She pretty much could. She could pretty much butter up anybody.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I think one of the parties, because the uncle had about two parties. I think he had one in New York, I believe, and then he had one in Italy. And I don't know this guy's name. He's not the bodyguard, but he was like the one that was
Mm.
looking out for Maurizio, like a
Like a counselor or
counsel,
something,
yeah, something like
advisor, something like that.
concierge or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, so he was an outsider, of course, and him and Lady Gaga got into it. Because he was basically saying, "Well, this is Maurizio's choice. It's not your choice. You're an outsider." Um, she shut him down quickly,
Mhm.
and she
Mhm.
basically said, "You don't need to trust him."
Yeah,
She was
exactly.
right. In
Yeah, she
the end.
was. She
Yeah,
was in the end.
yeah, and it's weird because all the moves that she was doing, like she has a good head for business, right?
Mhm.
Because the uncle did have to go. He was bringing down the value of the company, and plus tax evasion and all the other stuff on the back end he was doing could have, if that wasn't found out, it would have took down Gucci sooner.
Mhm.
The cousin Pablo, he can't design. That's Jared Leto.
Oh,
Jared
yeah.
Leto plays him, which
We have to talk
Pablo
about Pablo because Pablo.
Pablo loves his
Yes.
Velcro suits, which I don't think I've
Wow.
seen a Velcro suit before, but it's Velcro
Wow.
suits, and then he likes those silk scarves around his neck with a
Yeah.
Velcro. Imagine a brown Velcro suit
Mhm.
and a multicolored silk scarf.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's
Because
how he dressed.
Pablo was Jared Leto was Al Pacino's son,
Yes.
and Al Pacino was the business guy for Gucci, and Mauricio Adam Driver's dad was the design
Mhm.
of Gucci. So Mauricio, so when it came down to their children, Mauricio was a bookworm. He wanted to go to law school. And then Al Pacino's kid, Pablo, was just a hot mess.
Yes.
Basically,
He was like a
he
social climber too. He
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 was
mostly just wanted to prove of his father.
yeah, he wanted the he wanted his father to approve, and he also wanted his uncle Mauricio's dad to approve of his designs. But
Yeah.
there's a scene where he before Mauricio's dad dies, where Pablo brings in his designs for the old man to see, and oh my God, they look like they straight off the rack from Ross. I mean, and it looked like somebody stomped on that stuff. I mean, it was a hot mess. I mean,
Mm-mm.
it's
Bargain
like
bin.
yeah, it's like I don't know. I don't even know how you draw this up. I kept wondering, I'm like, who was the person that even drew that crap up? It looks awful. I
I
mean,
know.
pastels mixed with polka dot mixed
Oh,
with it was awful.
oh
It was
gosh.
awful. And Jeremy Irons, Mauricio's dad, I can't remember everything he said, but it had me hollering when his dad pretty much
Yeah.
told him, "You are a fuck up.
Yeah.
Stop designing clothes.
Yeah. Don't do this ever
Don't
again.
do this again."
Yeah.
And of course,
Yeah.
we have the scene where Jeremy Leto ends up peeing on the world famous Gucci scarf that Jackie O wore.
Yeah, because he
Yeah,
pointed him to
he
it.
peed on
Although
it.
he said, look at the scarf. That's what Jackie O wore. I designed this scarf. It's simple in simplicity. Take notes from the scarf.
Hmm.
And like I said, he left and he was like, take notes from the scarf. He
Yeah.
sounded like Mario.
Uh,
Mario Brothers. Yeah, his Jared Leto was very exaggerated on the Italian accent. It was like,
yes.
"Mamma mia, why will he
Y-
do this to me? I will pee on this scarf." Like that.
Yeah.
I'm not exaggerating. He really sound
No,
like
that
that.
he sounded like that. He sounded like Chef Boyardee or somebody. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Oh gosh, yeah, he was way over
Yes.
the top.
Yes.
And there was a
Yes.
scene where um Al Pacino, I don't know who this is. They
Oh yeah, just erase them.
yeah, we always get these spams right here.
Oh yeah.
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 Well, anyway, they
Yeah.
won't be shown, but
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
okay. Well, as long as they not shown, that's fine.
yeah. So Al Pacino, when he got out of jail for tax evasion, 'cause I think he only served a year, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So when he got out of jail, there was a scene where him and Jared Leto, because Jared was saying, not Jared, Pablo was saying, Dad, I sold my share of the company, and if you talking about two people overacting, what? What?
Yeah, it
What?
was
Oh, and it's like,
crazy.
oh, Daddy, no. Oh, oh.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was like who could yell the loudest
Yes.
and overact one another. Which
Mm-hmm.
I'm used to Al Pacino overacting. That's just him.
Yes.
But Jared Leto, it felt like he was trying to
Mhm.
compete with Al Pacino in the scene.
Yeah, he was. He was. And then going back to how they even got to the tax evasion, that
Hmm.
was Patricia.
Of course.
Patricia knew that in order for Mauricio and therefore her to have any power in the Gucci empire, they had to get the uncle out of there.
Hmm.
So Patricia, Lady Gaga, decides to play nice with Pablo. Everybody in the family knows that his designs are shit,
Yeah.
but she goes in there and puffs him up and basically says, "Hey, if you go and um come with us and get and bat Mauricio, then we'll give you a show. We'll give you a show with your designs and we'll create them and blah 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 blah." And so she pumped his head up, and then she also found out that Pablo knew that his dad was committing tax fraud in America and Italy,
Mm, mm, mm.
and he was skimming money off the top and wasn't hardly paying taxes, and he had all the documentation because he wanted to blackmail his dad eventually. So he gave that to Mauricio so that he can have it as leverage, and Mauricio
Yeah.
called the IRS and got him put in jail.
He thought that he would just show it to him and
Yeah,
say, "We got something on you."
step
But
down.
but he didn't think that he would call the IRS, which I don't know why. But
Well, I think he wanted him to be gone for real and out
Mhm,
of his way.
mhm,
Because by this point, Mauricio is kind of turning because he sees how Patricia is moving and
mhm,
how she's getting things done. So he's kind of starting to take on her tactics. So
mhm.
when Pablo gave him the ammunition with the tax returns, he just went ahead and called the IRS so he can get him out that company so he could run it for himself.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, like you said, we slowly start to see Maurizio, the meek
Mm-hmm.
mannered law school student of Gucci, just become the monster that Patrizia created.
Yes.
Like he
Oh
started
boy.
becoming a male version of Patrizia. It's
Yes.
like, okay, this is how she sees business. I'm gonna adopt this. And he just start buying out everybody, manipulating people.
Yeah, because Patricia is a social climber and she's very aggressive and ambitious. And Mauricio picks that up from her and he
Mhm.
starts doing it. He's more refined about it, not as in
Yeah.
your face, but he starts taking on the same tactics, such as putting his uncle in prison for tax evasion.
Yeah. And then buying out his cousin Pablo. Like
Oh, yeah.
when they told him that he could do the fashion show and you see his fashions and you go,
Oh
"Weird,
boy.
feel like somebody stepped on this and this should be in like Walmart."
Yeah, that's one of the
So,
funniest scenes is part of the deal for getting the tax returns. Mauricio has to give a fashion show to Pablo for his designs. And boy, when them models came out to see it for the show, I mean it was awful on paper, but actually in person, I was like, oh my God, it looked like just clearance rack from Ross. That's about the only thing. Or
mhm.
maybe Goodwill. No,
It looked like
I
you
don't
said,
even want to give it to Goodwill. It's more Ross, I think, or
clearance rack for
Melts.
Ross and clearance rack for Walmart. Walmart has good
Yeah,
clothing to begin with. The clearance stuff, like last chance clearance, that's what it looked like.
yeah, exactly. Or like no, Target has horrible clearance.
Oh, really?
Target's
Dang.
clothes on clearance are horrible. I mean,
Ew.
I'm like, that y'all truck in this garbage. Y'all
Mhm.
had that truck this in. I mean, I'm in Florida and it looks like they trucked in some ugly sweater from Minnesota.
Yeah.
And you
Well,
like, oh, like
some
what?
of the Goodwills, like the ones that are lower tier
Yeah, like
Goodwills, that's what it looked like.
yeah, it looked like bottom feeder Goodwill clothes. I mean, it was horrible. It was bad. And
Yeah.
then before they could even kind of get the show off the ground, Mauricio stabs him in the back by issuing a cease and desist order and having the did he have the sheriff come in and
Yeah, it was
stop
like
the show?
for gosh, what did they get him on? Something about copyright or
Copyright infringement, yeah.
infringement. Yeah, for using the
Yeah.
name Gucci,
Yeah,
which
because he had sold his shares, so he wasn't allowed to use the name Gucci in these designs. So basically Mauricio double crossed him and as soon as he trotted those models out, then they got him with a lawsuit for copyright infringement.
yeah, and then his wife was singing opera
Oh
and
yeah,
she
that was
kept singing
sad.
and then the cops came and they took all the chairs away and they turned the
Yeah.
light out. She kept singing. She like, oh, oh,
Yeah, it was it was sad.
she
It
poor
was
thing.
funny and sad all at the same
She
time.
was singing in the dark.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. But yeah, like you said, you start to see how it's all working in the play. And Patrizia, of course, is happy. She's like, oh, okay, good. He on my level now. We can both rule Gucci. Or maybe
Mhm.
she wanted to rule. I don't know. But yeah, and then slowly you start to see Adam Driver or Maurizio turning on her. And he started feeling himself because he got all
Mhm.
the shares and he started buying stuff. He started meeting up with an old friend from his childhood at the
Female
slope,
friend.
female friend at the slopes,
Yes.
blonde. Ugh,
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
And
But
of course Lady Gaga did not like this. So she had to show up at the slopes looking fly as I don't know what. She
that was
was
my
fly.
favorite outfit. Yeah,
Ooh,
she had on
just
like this
nasty.
fuchsia snowsuit, and then it was
Yes.
like
A white
what?
fur,
Yeah, it was like fur
a white
around the
fur
hat, and
hat.
then red goggles,
Oh,
and
she was
then like
looking.
Gucci earrings.
Yes, let's just say Lady Gaga slayed on the ski slopes. She
Yeah, she
came to
slayed on those
slay.
slopes.
She
Yes.
really did.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow, that girl looked like she was wearing Ralph Lauren. Lady Gaga came in a Gucci snowsuit,
Well, she
basically.
looked like she was just wearing one of them bubble suits from Kmart. I mean, that
Not Kmart.
mom used to put me in when I was a kid. Them bubble suits, and you just
But
stuck
this
like this.
but this
That's
this
all you could
girl
do.
but this
that
girl,
that's
she
what she
was
was in.
she was a childhood friend, so she was kind of a socialite too.
Hey,
Um,
John.
hey John, how are you? So she was kind of like a socialite too, in a sense. But Lady
Yes.
Gaga came. Oh, thanks for your support.
Thank you,
Thank
John.
you, John. So Lady Gaga, she came and she sees him at the um at the table with his friends. They're all upper socialites. And oh, you finished early. Oh, okay, cool.
Oh,
Well,
cool.
you can hear about House of Gucci with us
Yeah.
and the terrible accents that I was telling John about. Jared Leto's accent.
Yeah,
And
that
John
that
was
was
saying,
Chef
because
Boyardee.
John's Italian. So John was like,
Yeah.
oh no.
Ah,
Mamma
the
mia. That was how it
But
sounded.
outside of Jared Leto, I felt like the accents were kind of they were okay. It was, you know, and I think everybody was having problems with Lady Gaga.
Yeah, when I'm gonna
Accent.
get
I
back
didn't
to
see.
this, I'm gonna get back to what I was saying about the
Yeah, I
slopes.
thought it
But
was fine.
when we after the movie, we were going down the escalator to go to the car, and the people behind us were like, "Oh, Lady Gaga, she sounded like she was Russian and Italian." So they were saying that it was a mix of Russian and Italian. And I read Tom Ford because he's part of the Gucci story. We're gonna talk about him later.
Yeah, yeah.
Tom Ford, I read he said the movie was pretty good for the most part, but it was a little bit too glammed up. But like you were saying, if this was like everyday life, it'd be boring. So it's a movie. So you gotta kind of spruce it up a little bit.
Yeah, and John, I don't think Gal Gadot would have been great for this because um I mean, she's tall and lanky, and she just doesn't look Italian to me. She looks, she's
Israeli.
yeah, she look like Wonder Woman to me. So I think, and Lady Gaga being Italian, I think that helped because just looking at her, she gave me that Sophia Loren vibe.
Oh yeah, she did.
And yeah, she gave me that vibe too. So I just, you know, I was fine with Lady Gaga. I was fine with her and her accent. I mean, she was all good to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 She's Italian, of course.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought her
Very much
accent
so.
was
Hmm.
fine. The people behind us on the escalators were like, she sounds like she's between Russian and Italian. And that's what
Well,
Tom Ford said too. He said she sounded like she was between going in and out of Russian and Italian, but he said she was still his favorite in the movie.
well, I really do give the cast slack. Nobody was from Italy. I
Mm-mm.
mean, like not you're Italian, but not you're Italian American, but I mean you're Italian.
Italian.
They weren't
Yeah.
Italian, so
Yeah.
it's hard to adopt an accent that you don't normally go with. I mean, that really is a talent. That's why what's her name is so good, Meryl Streep. That's why
Oh
she's
man.
like the best. She's the top of the top because she can do that, but
Hmm.
it's hard. So I gave
Yeah.
them slack with their accents.
Yeah, because Al Pacino and Lady Gaga, I think the only two Italian Americans in
Yeah,
the film. Jeremy Iron did his best, but it was German Italian. If you want to go there,
it did. It
he's
sounded
German.
to me. It sounded kind of German.
Yeah, it's kind of like
Ish.
when Liam Nielsen does an American accent, but it's
Yeah.
still German, Irish. So
Yeah, you can still hear it. You can still
yeah,
hear it at the end, and it's like, yeah, it's hard to affect these different accents. So I
yeah.
gave them so much slack for that.
And Jared Leto, I think he was just watching Mario Brothers and Chef Boyardee commercials. Like, oh, this sounds good.
Right? I think that was what he was doing.
It's a little bit too over the top. Why?
Yes.
He put his arms up. Why? Dude,
Yeah.
please.
I
I
have
was
a
like,
feeling
what?
Jared Leto just this guy for real Pablo probably didn't act like this.
No, he didn't.
But Jared Leto just went to town. He was like, I don't know what this man act like. This is what I want to act
Yeah, he basically
like.
did his own thing. He's like,
Yeah.
why? Like
But
when they double
yeah.
crossed him, right? And he was confronting Maurizio and Patrizia. And he was
Yeah.
like, "Why? Why do you do this to me? Flick cigarette. Oh, me,
Yeah, I know.
family. Oh, oh,
Getting out
oh."
of his little pinto or whatever that was.
Yeah. And his of course his Velcro suits or
Oh God.
whatever those suits were.
I was just like, this is crazy.
Me with family.
Yes.
I
He
was
is
like,
he is the messed up branch of any family. The part of the family you like, Lord have mercy. I hope they don't come to the family reunion.
yeah, who
They are
let you
so
out?
screwed up. I know. Like that branch is so screwed up. I hope they don't come to the reunion. That was Pablo.
Yes, that is Pablo. Oh
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah. Like the
Yes.
uncle at the barbecue, they be wearing them loud Steve Harvey suits. That's
Yeah.
Pablo.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. He was awful. He was
Oh
awful.
god.
But
But oh yeah,
I
go
think we
ahead.
left off at the ski slopes. Like
Yeah.
that is
So
pretty much where Mauricio turns on Lady Gaga and
yeah.
shows his
Yeah.
ass.
Yeah. Cause he like when she came to sit down, right? And she was just talking about just things, places they went to, and it irks me when a man does that. He corrected her. He's like, "No, you say it
Hmm.
this way." Like that irks me,
Oh
and it
yes.
like I don't know. I had that happen to me with a guy I dated, so it just irks me. And then people were laughing at her,
Hmm.
and then he was
Hmm.
basically correcting her on everything she was saying, making her look
Hmm.
and she confronted him
Yeah.
and said, "Don't you ever make me look stupid again."
It was cringy. It
Mhm.
was cringy. The way he was
Undermining her.
doing that. I mean, yeah, and I've been in the company of people who where the spouse is basically cutting them and criticizing them and putting them down, and you don't
Mhm.
know. You're like, oh boy, that ain't funny. That's kind of because it's that nervous laughter where you like, oh my god. But he was doing that to Lady Gaga, correcting the way she said stuff, and I mean, he really it was cringy. It was totally
Yeah.
cringy worthy.
It
Yeah.
was like he was, ashamed of her
Yes.
Italianness because he was with his American socialite friends.
Well, I think he was ashamed of her, period.
Yeah.
Just who she was, how she was acting, how loud she was. When they are kind of this, kind of quiet, sophisticated, highbrow, mega rich people on the ski slopes. I guess this was Aspen or someplace.
Yeah.
And she kind of comes in loud.
Loud suit, gaudy
Yeah,
earrings,
loud, loud, loud. And
red fingernails.
yeah, and clearly he was embarrassed she was there. And I mean, he put her down like a child. He talked
Yeah.
to her like a child, and it
Oh, yeah.
was embarrassing.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and you start to see that turning, and she would just try to come to him for affection, and you would slowly see him grow cold towards her,
Yeah.
almost like brushing her off. And of course, we
Hmm.
find out that he's having an affair with his sophisticated, rich childhood friend.
Hmm.
And like
The
you said, he
blonde.
the blonde. And but that's what I was gonna say. My favorite scene when she started to pick up on it, Patricia. She goes to the blonde and
Oh
she
boy.
she talks to her um about what she teaches her child. She said, with my child, I teach her you're not supposed to take other people's things. And so she kind of talks down to her like that while she's drinking her cappuccino.
Hmm.
It's in the trailer and she's stirring it and she's drinking it and she was like, "'Cause it doesn't belong to you. And I don't want her
Yeah.
to be a thief."
Yeah, I know.
And
It
the
don't
lady was
belong to you.
so
You're a thief.
uncomfortable.
She
So
really
uncomfortable.
was.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
told
she
her, "You
was.
stay away from my man," basically.
Yeah, in a very nice, nasty way, she was like, "Stay away from my man," which did not work.
Mm-mm. No, it didn't
Nah.
work.
Didn't
Because
work.
eventually he wanted to divorce her. Patrizia. Maurizio wanted to divorce Patrizia.
But we gotta talk about Christmas first.
Christmas.
Oh boy, the Bloomingdale gift card.
Oh
Oh my
man.
God.
More
If he didn't do that,
embarrassment.
I would have like Christmas or no, I would have turned them tables over. Like, oh
More
Lord.
embarrassment. Yeah, you want to talk
I
about
would have
it?
turned them tables over. Christmas or no Christmas. I'm like, dang man.
You want
I
to talk
know
about
you
that?
did.
You want to talk about that scene?
Oh yeah, it's Christmas. It's clear that he's having an affair with the blonde,
Hmm.
and he is pretty much done with Lady Gaga. But for the sake of their little girl, they decide to have Christmas together. So Lady Gaga is trying to, involve him because she doesn't want a divorce. So she's trying to be nice to him and make it feel like it used to be, but he is very cold, except to his daughter.
Hmm.
And so she gives him a gift, and it's a very nice, what was it, a Rolex watch or
Something
something
like
like
that.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she gives him that. This is all in front of their daughter. And then he gives her gift from him, and his gift to her turns out to be a Bloomingdale gift card because she shops there all the time anyway. And
No,
I'm just
she didn't
like,
shop there. She's like, I don't shop here.
oh
So
yeah,
I'm assuming Bloomingdale at this point is kind of like Ross.
well, I think Bloomingdale is nice at this point, but it's not Gucci nice. Like
Mm-mm,
they don't sell Gucci in there. It's not
mm-mm,
that level nice. It's
mm-mm.
just nice. Maybe like Macy's. I think it's the equivalent of Macy's.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, I saw that and I was like, no, see, that's when I would have turned on them tables. That daughter would have saw like, no, if you gonna disrespect me, you can get the hell on. Don't be giving me no
Mm-hmm.
damn gift card I can get at well Walmart wasn't around, Kmart, you
Yeah,
know.
and that was her gift. That's it.
Yeah, that was her gift. That was it.
He got him this expensive watch, and he got her probably $25 gift card to
Yeah,
Bloomingdale.
$25 gift card, the Bloomingdales. Yeah,
Don't you
I would
shop
have been
there?
like, I'm
No.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been like, I'm so done with this. I am not. No, we're
Mm-mm.
done.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
You go off with your blonde. Let me get
Mhm.
your money,
Mhm.
and we'll see who going to Bloomingdale's.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Cause that's when you like, yeah, yeah, I'm getting half, bitch. I'm getting half
Mhm.
your shit.
Mhm. 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 Yep. Yep. And now there's a scene, and it's getting toward the end of the film, or I think we're in the middle toward the end,
Yeah, we're
where
towards.
Al Pacino, well, he calls in like a third party, right, to help him facilitate buying out his cousin and all that stuff, and revamping Gucci basically. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
so they,
He needs
yeah,
these investors because he doesn't have enough money
hmm,
to cash to buy out his uncle. His uncle still has his shares, and
that's right, yeah,
yeah, his uncle got out of prison, and clearly he's stone broke, and he knows that if I give him cash, he'll just go away and give me his shares, and I have complete control. But he doesn't have the money. So he goes and finds these investors, and so he can get the cash about his uncle, which Patricia tells him, but
yeah,
he don't want to listen to him. They don't trust these outsiders.
hmm,
They will take over. They will push you out, and they want to take over. But she tells him that, and of course he just flips off like whatever.
yeah, yeah, because it was the boardroom scene with Al Pacino and Jared Leto
Hmm.
and the third party. And they're talking to him, and they're like, oh, we want to buy you out, blah blah blah. And you say, who told you this? Who told you can do this? And of course, Maurizio, you can still see part of the meekness come out because he's afraid of his uncle, so he's kind of hiding. But then he appears, and he's like, hello uncle. And of course,
Yeah.
Al Pacino, dramatic as he is, he's like, "Oh, Maurizio, you broke my heart." And
Yeah.
he signed his shares away in the most violent way I've ever
Oh
seen.
my God. I
He just
know,
took the
right?
pen and almost stabbed the paper and wrote viciously and then pushed the paper back. He's like, "There." I was
Hmm.
like, "Wow. I don't I don't know if I can sign like that."
I know. It was pretty dramatic how he
Yeah,
signed
yeah.
and like, okay, fine. Give me my money. Let me go.
Yeah. Yeah, it was on it, yeah. So,
Hmm.
so Tom Ford, this is where Tom Ford comes in.
Yes, because
Tom
now
Yeah.
Mauricio has full control of the company,
Oh,
but Gucci is considered old,
yes.
and none of the top designers want to design for Gucci. So he is desperate. He needs somebody to come in and design for Gucci to make it more modern,
Yes, exactly. And that's
which
where they
is what
finally
Patricia told him.
told him. Yeah. Yeah. And
She
they
told
find a
him,
young designer from Texas, I believe,
yeah,
which they didn't
Texas.
really say at first.
Hmm.
Until later on in the movie, they was like, "Oh, Tom Ford," and I was like, "Oh my God, Tom Ford," which
Yeah.
I didn't. I guess this is getting into the '90s, so they bring Tom Ford on to revamp Gucci, and he
Hmm.
comes with his Tom Ford style, which he still uses today in his own collection.
And it's
I
good.
think it's like the crushed velvet blazer. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's what he's known for because I don't really wear Tom Ford. But,
Well,
yeah,
I can't afford it. I would wear
I
it if
can't
I could
afford
afford
none of
it.
this stuff. I can afford some Gucci for $40 on the street, and I can
I
afford some
know.
Robert Ford.
I know.
I can't
No,
afford no
no.
Tom Ford.
I'm not on Tom Ford
Maybe the
level.
cologne, because I heard he has a unisex cologne,
Yeah,
and maybe
maybe
I
I
can
can buy
afford that.
cologne.
And if he got something at Target, like Isaac Mizrahi, then maybe I
Yeah.
can afford that. Or there's a
Yeah,
clearance at
no.
Macy's.
He ain't down here on our level yet. He's still too high.
Yes. But yeah,
Yeah.
he comes in and he just brings it into the modern world like the 90s.
Hmm.
And it
Yeah,
looks really good. You can see the
it
stark
does.
contrast between Pablo's runway and
It's
Tom Ford.
like, yeah, it's like the difference between Kmart and Saks Fifth Avenue.
Very nice. Yes.
Yeah, it's that different.
Yes, very different. And it,
Very,
it get
very different.
rave reviews and Tom Ford, the designer for Gucci, and he's getting all these
Hmm.
acclaims and
Hmm.
and this is about the time that the third party started coming in, which they
Yes.
have to speed up the story, so I'm sure it took like days and stuff. But that's
Yeah,
what
this probably was over years
yeah,
that
Tom
all
Ford
this
was
was brewing. Yeah.
strangely complaining about how everything was kind of rushed. And I was like, Tom, we don't have time. This movie is like almost
Yes.
2 hours. Okay.
I
We
know.
got
And
time
all
for
this
this.
was going on between like 1990 and 1995. So
Yeah. We
it's
got
like
time for this.
they had to hurry up and like wrap it up.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. So basically, the third party with the concierge, they get
yeah.
together and they want to buy out Maurizio.
Hmm.
And but they want to buy him out mainly too because he's spending all his money.
He's spending a lot of money, y'all. I
Hmm.
mean, him and his hoe are
Hmm.
just sitting there spending money, and it is not business 101. He is spending money on training facilities for something, and tricked out cars, villas. I mean, he's not just buying, oh, this is a nice coat. No, he's buying buildings and
Hmm.
buildings
Yeah.
built,
Yeah.
expensive jewelry. I mean, it's crazy. It is
Yeah.
crazy.
He's buying
Houses.
half of that stuff for him and, as my sister said, his hoe.
Yeah, and
Who
his home.
he wants a divorce by this time with Lady Gaga,
Yes.
Patricia, so he can, I guess, marry the girl, and she can be Miss
Yeah.
Gucci. Um,
Yes, but he has she refuses to sign the divorce papers, and she is stewing mad with her
oh yeah,
sidekick
we
at
forgot
this
to remember.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she did get a psychic. We forgot to mention that earlier on
Yeah.
before she started to manipulate Maurizio a little bit more. She goes to a psychic, like the Miss Cleo. She
Yeah,
called a
like Miss
psychic,
Cleo.
and she was like, will I be rich and famous? Basically.
Hmm.
That's what she asking her, and she does these periodic visits with the psychic, and she's
Hmm.
like, "Where's my husband? Is he cheating on me? Will I be rich and famous? Will we acquire Gucci? Blah blah blah." And of course the psychic is taking advantage of basically just being paid to be the sidekick.
Hmm.
She's in mud baths with her, and then she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's okay. We'll just put another spell on him," which
Felt, yeah, and she just kind of pushes Patricia off by saying, "We'll just put a spell on her. We'll just put a hex on her. We'll just
yeah.
do that. Let's go to the Bahamas. Let's go
Mhm.
shopping. Let's do
Yeah,
this." Let's
let's
do
think
that.
about this for a little bit because
Yeah.
Patricia is like, he ain't gonna be with nobody but me, and I am
Yes.
Gucci, because so I want him dead. And she's like, no, we can't
Yeah.
go to the Bahamas. Let's just calm down.
Patricia is basically just spiraling down into a very psychotic person who is obsessed with Mauricio and what is he doing with his blonde hoe.
Hmm.
And it is getting really, really bad.
Hmm.
And this is around the same time that Tom Ford is resurrecting Gucci, and the investors now want to kick Mauricio out. All this stuff is happening at the same time.
Yeah, and they want to buy him out for like what was it, 150 million?
Yeah, 150 million, which
Yeah.
is pocket change because Gucci is, well, now Gucci is $1 billion company, and 150 million is just like nothing. And Mauricio knew that.
Hmm.
He knew that, but they had a point that his spending was so bad it was eating the profits.
Hmm.
And they had to turn this thing around before the place went bankrupt.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and I think he just went ahead and sold his shares.
He did. He went
Yeah,
ahead and signed
it's
off
like,
on it.
okay, well, whatever.
Well, he was mad, and I think he said she told me you all would do that. Didn't he say
Yeah,
that?
he did. He said she said
Yeah,
you would do this. Yeah, not
yeah,
to trust outsiders or whatever, or the
yeah,
concierge. She told me not to trust you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Pretty much, he went off and signed his shares and got 150 million, and he was like, "She told me you all would do this to me."
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, and at this point, Patricia is trying to look for hitmen to kill Mau-
Yeah. Oh Lord.
Maurizio.
Yeah, it
Uh,
turns into a bad murder show, or
Murder for hire.
maybe
Yeah.
a Florida murder for hire
Oh
scheme. That's what
no,
it
not
felt
Florida.
like. It did. I was like, "Oh Lord, are they in Plant City? Where they at?
Because
Meeting these people,
the psychic knew some two guys who would do it for,
two
I, for,
dudes."
I forgot how much they said, but then they changed the price and said what, 6 million or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. I think they originally wanted 8. Yeah, I think they wanted 8, and
Oh,
Patricia said she would only pay them 6, 3 now, 3 when it was done, which is
yeah.
shoot Mauricio. She
Hmm.
wanted him gone because if she couldn't have him, then she didn't want nobody
Nobody
else to
could.
have him.
Nope. And she is not giving up the Gucci name.
No, no.
Mm-mm. No.
So the
Mm.
guys, to my surprise, because I just assumed they was BSing, but to my surprise, they actually stalked Mauricio because it looks like at this point he's back in Italy chilling, essentially doing the same thing he was doing at the beginning of the movie, which is sitting there in a suit in an outdoor cafe,
Yeah.
drinking espresso and
Living
riding his
this
bike.
modest life
Yeah,
again.
he's back to his modest life. Like, oh well, I'm back to where I started. It was like full circle.
And he looked
And
happy.
He looked
He
content.
looked happy, like, "Oh, okay, well, I'm out there Gucci stuff, so I'm content."
Yeah.
I'm assuming that maybe he wants to get back into law school. This is just my
Yeah.
assumption that he just wants to be back to his regular life.
Yeah. Yeah. You could tell that Mauricio had gotten to this place of peace
Mhm.
and calm, and he was free from running the empire, and he just went back to square one. He just went full circle. He was back to just chilling out at the outdoor cafe, drinking his coffee and riding his bike back
Yeah.
home.
Yeah, back to I think it's one of the Gucci houses or something. I don't know what
Yeah.
house it was,
It
but
looked
he
like
was
the original house from the first scene.
oh, okay, yeah. So he
Mhm.
was going up the stairs, and of course, one of the hitmen came out, and they're like, "Maurizio Gucci," and he's like, "Yes,
Yeah, he was like,
yeah."
"Yes." Yeah.
No, I'll be like, "Who is that? Who is that?" If he's running.
He like, "Yes." Is somebody calling my
Yeah.
name?
How can I help you? Tat, tat, tat. Like 4, 5
Yeah.
shots on the doorway, which is kind of like how Versace was shot. He was shot on his
Yeah.
doorway too.
I know that's the feeling I was getting. It felt like when Versace died.
Yeah.
And it also felt like, the way Maurizio was like, "Yeah, sure, that's my name." It felt like that's probably what Versace said too.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it
You,
was because
yeah,
Versace, this is, I know it's not Gucci, but Versace was killed by an obsessive, crazed fan
fan.
or
Yeah.
whatever that wanted to be like him and accepted by him.
Mhm.
And he said Versace, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, "Yes," just like, Maurizio,
Yeah.
"Yes,"
Yeah.
you know?
They're like, "Yeah,
So, if
uh-huh."
somebody call your name, just run. Is the moral of the story, just run in the
Yeah, we
house.
we need to get our fashion designers. They need a security detail because they are a little too
A little
they're a
too
little too
open.
trusting. They walk
Yeah,
around, somebody say their name, yes, and then they getting
yeah.
tapped. I'm like,
Riding bikes in the
oh,
street. "Yeah, I'm just a
yeah,
regular guy." No. But,
yeah,
yeah,
no.
he dies, and then, um, Lady Gaga and, Patricia is in court, the hitman in court, and the
Oh,
psychic is in court.
well, wait a minute. We got to do the scene about after Mauricio dies because technically Patricia is still his wife.
Oh, man.
And
Oh, that's
because
right.
she did not sign the divorce papers when he died, so she inherits everything. And boy, oh boy, she rolls into that house.
After the funeral. Yeah. Yeah.
After the funeral, she rolls into
With the kids.
Mauricio's house
Yeah, with his blonde.
with his blonde. It was one of the best scenes in the movie.
Yeah, because the blonde opens the door and it's
Yeah.
Patricia and the kids. And then I thought she was gonna punch in the face, but she embraces her. And
Mhm.
then she's like, "Oh," and then she calls oh God, what is he like? I don't know, the butler?
The butler or
She calls
something.
his
Yeah.
name and she's like, "Can you escort Miss such and such out my house? Thank you." And
Yeah,
he
I know.
what? And the blonde was like, "What?"
What?
And he escorted her out. He's like, "It is her
Yeah,
house.
like,
You're
well,
not
okay, time
married
for
to
you to
him."
go. This her
Yeah,
house. She right.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that was a good scene. So
Yeah,
she
it
got her
was.
revenge on the blonde.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the blonde got anything out of it. I don't know. Maybe she could sell off something he bought her.
Yeah, she just got whatever trinkets he bought her
I don't think
because
she got any shares or anything like that because the third
no.
party by this point, third party plus Tom Ford took over
Uh,
Gucci.
yeah, he wasn't even a part of Gucci, and he was technically still married to Lady Gaga, so she ain't get nothing.
Oh yeah,
She got
yeah,
whatever trinkets he may have bought her. That's
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. And then this is the court scene where Lady Gaga, Patricia, there are two hitmen and the psychic.
And
I
this was
think
2 years later, 2 years after
2 years
Mauricio
later,
died.
she
Yeah.
got her revenge 2 years, and then she got caught.
Yeah.
It took them 2 years to figure out it was the wife.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, somebody. I think one of the psychics was pressured. the psychic was pressured, and she confessed, yeah, we killed
Mm-hmm.
them, blah blah blah. I forgot how many years they got. I
It
think
was like 20. They were between 20 and 25 years.
yeah, because
But the
Patricia
shooter got life. I think the
life,
actual
yeah,
shooter got life. Yeah.
yeah, Patricia, I think she got 26, I
Yeah,
believe,
something like
somewhere
that.
around that, and she got out 2016, twenty
Yeah.
seventeen. But
Yeah. So she's
yeah.
out walking the streets with a parrot.
Yes, we looked and see what she's doing. Where
Yeah.
are they now? Yeah,
Yeah.
she
Wow.
is she works at a jewelry company in Italy, I believe, and she has a parrot on her shoulder. And they asked the New York Post or whoever, somebody asked her, why didn't you yourself shoot your husband? And she said, my eyesight is terrible and I would have missed.
Because at that point, she had no plans on missing.
Mm-mm, no.
She wanted that done. She wanted him dead.
Yeah. So she still can she well she can't get the assets, right? Because he didn't really give her shares of the company,
Well,
Maritza.
he didn't have any more. From what I can tell
Yeah.
from the movie, he didn't have any more shares. He had sold it.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever money he had went to her. But when she was convicted of that crime, then whatever assets that she owned were probably taken from her because
Mm-hmm.
she was basically hired a killer for him, so she can't inherit his estate if
Oh
she
wow.
committed a crime to kill him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't know if the daughters could inherit anything. I don't even know if he had a will, to be honest.
Yeah, you don't know all that detail. I mean, I googled these daughters. They seem well off to me. So, if the mama is gone, then probably his kids would have gotten whatever he had left of his estate.
Yeah, that's right. I think I read that the daughters were trying to prevent their mom because she wanted a piece of the estate. I think that's
Yeah,
what I read, and the daughters were blocking her. Like, no, you can't do this. You killed our dad, basically.
yeah, and they should because
Hmm.
she doesn't need a piece of that estate. Then she would, profit from her crime, and they don't want that to happen.
Yeah, no, but
Because
she.
people, it'll be a lot of dead folks, and people could just
Oh
knock
yeah,
off folks and get the insurance money, as we
mm-mm.
see on our murder shows. Oh my
Murder.
God,
Yes,
it'll
murder.
yeah, half the population to be gone. So no, no,
Mm-mm. No, she can't ever get it. I
no, she won't.
know she was. I read that the real Patricia, was upset that Lady Gaga did not consult her before playing her.
Oh my God, it
And
wasn't that hard. I mean,
no, it wasn't. Just
she's
look
not
at
a
some
complicated
newsreel.
woman.
No, straightforward newsreels.
She
Just look at that. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Just look at newsreels, read accounts. She was a ambitious social climber. I mean,
yeah,
nothing more to it.
yeah,
What do you, she like Mother Teresa or something. And she
yeah.
had just layers of complexity or something.
Mm-mm. No, you're not. No,
Yeah.
that's straightforward. And Adam Driver, he really did look like the real Maurizio Gucci. If
Oh, I
you,
haven't seen a picture of the real
yeah, he
Mauricio.
basically what you see like behind us. Let me
Uh huh.
basically this pretty much what he looks like in real life. What he
Oh.
did look like. Yeah, the
Oh.
glasses, everything
Mm-hmm.
looking awkward. They pretty much could be doppelgangers.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
like I said, all this book, um, House of Gucci, sensational story of murder, madness, and glamour by Sarah Forden. I guess is available now. I'm sure the sales are gonna skyrocket since the movie
Mm-hmm.
just came out. But
Mm-hmm.
you can read more detail into it with the book.
Yeah, which I'm sure goes into way more detail about it, but the movie was excellent
Yeah,
to
the detail Tom Ford wanted.
me.
And I'm like, Tom, please,
We
we don't have
can.
time for no 5-hour movie. He
Nah,
wanted, like, every
exactly.
detail.
No, they had to compress like 5 to 7 years into like 30 minutes.
Mm, mm, mm. But, yeah, that's the show. Um, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was really good. It's just a pretty much simple, murder for hire, movie, but you also have the glitz and glamour of Gucci surrounded by it. Like I
Mhm.
said, Jared Leto overact too much. But I yes, I see him as
Well,
a jester now, like the comic
he
relief.
yeah, he was comic relief, and he was very good at being comic relief too. I mean, he was
Yeah.
outrageous.
Al Pacino was Al Pacino. Um,
Yeah, yeah, and I
Lady
love Al
Gaga
Pacino.
was sensational.
She
Um,
was.
and I don't know why I was surprised. She seemed to be getting better and better because I saw the movie with Bradley Cooper and I was surprised
Mhm.
by her acting in it too. She
Oh,
was really
okay.
good in that movie, so she's a pretty good actor.
Yeah, I think she's good at,
Yeah,
I think she's pretty good actor. So
yeah.
I
I
hope she
think
does more
that's what she
movies.
wanted to do first
Mm,
before music. So yeah.
mm.
Adam Driver was great as
Yeah, he
always.
was.
He always brings a awkward intensity to every role that he does.
Hmm. It's a
Um,
quiet kind of intensity.
yeah, and menacing too. Yeah,
Yeah, he felt
toward the end.
menacing. I
Yeah,
felt kind of Kylo Ren was coming out when he gave her that Bloomingdale gift card. I'm like, oh man.
you gotta do the
I'm
choke
like, he
or
went
something.
straight. I know. I'm like, Lord, is he gonna force choke her now? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He probably will. Yeah, because
I was
he
like,
did a movie
ooh,
with Scarlett Johansson. I think it's called Marriage Story. But in that
oh,
movie, he was very Kylo Renish.
ooh.
It's on Netflix. But yeah. And then Jeremy Irons is good, of course. Jeremy Irons and Jerry Irons.
He's Jeremy Irons, so he's
Yeah,
excellent
yeah,
always.
always. But yeah,
Mm.
I would recommend seeing it in theaters. But if not, it's just as good to see it at home too.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy looking at the fashion on the big screen myself.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's perfectly fine on TV on if it comes on Netflix or something, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, it's worth renting at least.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
yeah,
Totally.
yeah. And after the movie, I actually looked at Gucci, the website, just for fun.
Oh yeah,
I
good.
was like, "Oh,
Good.
okay, how much is a purse?" And I was like, "Wow, 1,000 some dollars, okay." Everything else was like 1,000, 3,000, 2,000.
Yeah.
So, basically, I just looked at the Gucci website for fun.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
like how I look at Versace website for fun.
Yeah, I look at the Alexander McQueen website. I was that close to getting some sunglasses for $300.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then I was like, nah, I guess. Well, they sold out.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
They sold out, but I love Alexander McQueen's designs. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
like 3,000, 4,000, 10,000. I was like, oh boy.
Yeah, and like you, I do like looking at fashion.
Mm-hmm.
I like Vogue magazine just to look at it. It's like art to me.
It
Art I can't
is
afford.
really.
But yeah, I'm like, this is artsy. Okay, this is pretty
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think Gucci and Versace and all that, you can probably get it at Macy's, but it's probably out of season, as they
It
call it,
got to be.
because
Yeah, it got to
it's
be out of
probably
season.
like 300, starting at 300 or something like that.
I know. I
Or
know.
you
Yeah.
can go on the street and get a Tucci,
Yeah,
you know,
Tucci.
or Gucci,
I
whatever,
know. Or Bucci.
Bucci.
Go get a Bucci off the truck.
Yeah, get a Gucci off the truck.
Yeah, and it may be a real Gucci. It's just off the truck and hot. But
Yeah,
hey, if
yeah.
you
If
don't
you,
mind, that, then go pay $200 for a very
hmm
nice Gucci outfit. that
Yeah.
the police may put you in jail for
Yeah.
receiving stolen goods.
Yes. But I did find a Versace purse. It was out of season. It was
Mm.
at the Buckhead Goodwill in Atlanta. So I think like the rich housewives and the rich people, they're like, oh,
Yeah.
this out of season. I'm just you
Yes.
must have been way out of season. But I will
Or
take
they just
your
got or they got so much stuff in their closet that
yes.
they're like, "Oh my god, I got to get rid of
Yeah.
something."
But I will take your way out of season
Yeah, I
first.
would
And
too.
I would take your way out of season clothes, rich people.
I'll
So
take
thank
your
you
way
for
out of
addressing
season
me.
sunglasses.
Yes, thank you for dressing me. Continue to contribute to Goodwill, rich
I
people.
know,
Help us broke people out and dress us. It's
but
like
we have
charity.
not. Yeah, I know, but we have not seen Gucci in the
No,
Goodwill. We
no.
haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, maybe I should visit the Goodwill in Buckhead to see if
I
there's
think so.
Gucci there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is better than every Goodwill here in Tallahassee.
oh man, yeah. If I find
Yeah,
something in Buckhead, I see I can look out for you.
yeah, you have to look out because all our Goodwills here in Tallahassee are just.
Mm-mm.
I mean, who takes stuff to Goodwill with stains on it? I'm
Ew,
like, I don't. And then your broke down sofa that look like it got bed bugs in it.
ew.
I mean, I'm like, this is no,
No, no.
no.
Do better, Tallahassee.
Yeah, our
Do
Goodwills are
better.
awful here.
Do
They're
better.
just awful.
Or you can use financial aid to get some Gucci sunglasses, $300.
Yeah, look like I'm gonna have to.
That's about it.
I need about two financial aid checks put together to get these sunglasses. Oh my god.
Yeah, because my glasses are these are Michael Kors, but these are my prescription sunglasses. Prescription glasses, Michael
Yes.
Kors, and like $100.
I was feeling good when I got my Ray Bans. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm doing good. And then I saw
yeah.
them Alexander McQueen sunglasses. I'm like, oh my God.
I'm not doing so good.
No, I ain't got that kind of money.
No, no, I don't think I ever had that kind of money. But
You never know.
well, yeah, okay,
You
right.
may.
You may.
You
I
know, we
don't
both
mind
may.
I don't mind getting stuff out of season.
Oh no, I don't care nothing about. I
Yeah,
don't even know what season it is
I
anyway.
don't either. I'm not that fashionista. So yeah, I
No.
don't know what season or anything is.
Like Meryl Streep in The Devil Wears Prada with
Your favorite film. Yeah.
the epic dialogue when she dressed
We should
when she
review
dressed
that.
that girl down and told her exactly which clearance bin she got her dress out of. I was like,
We should
oh
review that. We should review Devil Wears Prada.
yes.
Cause I see a
Yes.
quote that when like, people cut me out off traffic or somebody get on my nerves, I'm like, listen, six.
And of course, my favorite meme of before you get coffee and after you get coffee. When Mel Street come busting out the elevator, that's after you get coffee.
Mm, 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 mm. Terrible.
Yes,
But
Meryl
yeah,
Streep does bitch scary good.
yeah, really good.
I'm like, oh my god, it's some people who have mothers who act like this, and you're like, oh my
Yeah.
god, if that was my mom.
Get you goosebumps. Of course, not our mom, but other
No,
people
not
mom.
out.
Yeah,
Thank God. But
yeah.
some people do have moms that are like Devil Wears Prada, Meryl
Mm-hmm.
Streep, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, Lord, I got to say a prayer for y'all.
Mm-mm. Father, son,
Jesus.
house of Gucci.
Yeah. Father, Son, House of
I was
Gucci.
like, I cannot believe this is already it's already a meme, Daisha. Can you believe that it's already a meme?
It should
Father,
be. That's what
son.
the
Yeah,
son.
yeah. That was Lady Gaga is a
Yes,
particular scene with Pablo where he said, do you promise? And then she crossed herself, with the cross, but she's like, Father,
yes.
son, house of Gucci.
And that's where he begins to tell her about the uncle's tax issues. So,
Mm, mm,
and then
mm.
she starts dancing, and then you can tell Lady Gaga know how to
She do
dance.
her Lady
She
Gaga
know how to
dance.
dance. She started going. I'm like, here in my poker face. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, this ain't
Yeah,
dance.
and then Jared Leto, like, oh, Jared Leto, he just poor thing. Everybody outacted him, and he's like, "I'm a dance too.
Yeah, he was like, I'm gonna dance too. And I'm
Dance
like,
too.
no, get
Dance
out of
too."
her shot. I
Yeah,
want to see Lady Gaga. She doing her little happy dance. Like, oh yeah, I
yeah,
got that information on them tax returns.
yeah. But of course, Jared Leto, he's wearing crushed velvet Gucci suits in all the premieres.
Mm.
So yeah. Oh, well, anyway, so that's the end of the show. Where can people find you,
Find
Daisha?
me well.
You're on John's show, right? From
Oh
time to time.
yeah, I'm on Movie Lovers TV Lovers Unite.
Yeah.
And we are doing the Hawkeye reviews. So I think we next week we do season episode 4.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
That's the only place I know of except at the house.
Yeah, I'm on John's show sometimes too, and sometimes John come on our show, Two Blurred Girls.
Yes.
But for Two Blurred Girls, you can
Two
follow
sister
us.
girls.
Don't confuse people. You can we me and my sister may do a podcast down the line. But Two Blurred Girls with me and Tamara. You can follow us on Facebook, Two Blurred Girls Podcast. And then you can follow us on Twitter at Blurred Two Girls. You can follow us on Instagram at Two Blurred Girls underscore podcast. And you can follow and subscribe for more of these amazing videos
Totally
on YouTube.
amazing. Totally
Two Blurred
amazing.
Girls Podcast. And we're also on Twitch, Two Blurred
Plus a
Girls
sister.
Podcast. And we have an audio podcast, which I download and upload after this show. We're on Apple Podcasts. You can follow and subscribe there. Also Google Podcasts. We're also on iHeartRadio. Yay! We got
Wow.
big things
Yay.
here.
Big
Um,
time.
we're on Anchor Podcasts, and we're also on Goodpods. Goodpods is kind of like Facebook for podcasters. You can subscribe. Well, not subscribe. You can basically share other podcasters' episodes and rate their episodes. So basically, we're all helping each other out as podcasters. And we're also on Amazon Music. We're on Audible. So basically,
Oh,
check all streaming platforms because that's where
yeah,
we are.
yeah,
Next week, Tamara should be here, but if
yes.
not, we will keep the show going.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
but I,
And I
so
may be back.
yeah,
And
she may be back.
we stamps.com, two blurred girls need um we need to talk about promoting stamps.com people. Come on now. Call Tamika so we can promote your product because I sat in the post office 20 minutes for one box. It was
Oh no.
ridiculous. So, yeah, this is free. Stamps.com. Like, yeah, go do that. Especially if you run a business. Don't go to the post office. It's a hot ass mess.
Don't go around this time. You need your packages. Try to get them
No,
in before the
this is a
week of the
public
20th.
service announcement. Don't do that, post office. Don't do it. Stamps.com. Do not do it.
Well, try to if you have to go to the post office, I would say try to get all your packages in before the week of the 20th.
Yes. But stamps.com people call Tamika cause so she can promote your product because we can't go up in that post office.
Yeah, you can email us at two blurred
Yeah.
girls podcast at gmail.com.
Just the potholes in the post office before I even get out my car.
This is
It's
Tallahassee, okay? You just talking about
like
Tallahassee.
y'all post office better.
It's not better, but we have small potholes.
Cause we got giant craters going on in the house.
All right, we gotta go. So yes, stay tuned for all the social media pages and I'll let you guys know what our next show is next Friday. But until then, have a good
Yep.
night and thanks for joining us.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.